Priyanka, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Welcome to the Maple Life Studio. Today we'd like to get started with a quick background of how you got initiated into music, and then during the later half of the interview I'll talk to you about your newest venture and to your whole debut performance that you had a couple of weeks ago. Was that 1 week ago? Yeah. Alright. So my first question to you would be, who initiated you into Hindustani classical music?
That was my parents. They moved here before I was born, but then after I was born they decided that I should have something that I would be passionate about my whole life, because we live in America, so we don't have that connection with India so much, so they thought that I should have some connection to Indian culture. So it was either music or dance, but I was 6 years old, so I decided music, and I've been sticking with music the whole way.
Okay, great. So then when your parents moved here, were you guys surprised at all that there are very many people here who are musically inclined?
We were very surprised. There's a really large Indian community here in the Bay Area, and there's a lot of people who love music and who make it their life's joy, just like you guys actually. So yeah, it was very surprising for them and for me.
Great. And so then tell me a little bit about who your first guru was when you started learning.
I first started learning from Anupama Dalal Chandratre. She was so nice. So it was her that got me so interested in music, because at first I was like, why do I have to go to class? But then I started liking it a lot. So and then when I was 9 years old, sorry, we changed to Manoj and Archana Tamankar, and I've been learning from them ever since.
Alright. And so how's that experience been? Do you feel like, you've grown, and you've been with Manoj Kaka and Archana Mashi for the past how many years?
The past 8 years.
Okay, wow. So that's, obviously that's a big learning curve, right? So tell me a little bit about how you first started out and where you think, you see yourself maybe today and then in the future in relation to this art.
I started out, I was not very confident in my abilities. I was like, I can't do this. But then they sort of nurtured me and guided me and told me that if you practice, you can sing much better. So I followed their advice. I started practicing, and whatever exercises they told me to do in class, I did those. And then under their guidance, I improved a lot.
Great.
That's the main reason that I've gotten to this point.
Oh, that's so nice. So can you give me maybe an example of how they taught you how to do riyaz that is that is very effective? What kinds of exercises you like to do and rehearse?
The main goal I've had is to increase the quality of my tane, because you have to sing fast and with clarity, so that was difficult for me at the beginning. But they just said, all you have to do is sing them. You don't have to do anything magical, just sing them for half an hour every day and you'll get it. I didn't believe them at first. I was like, how can that happen? I'm just singing here and it's not working. But I realized that it's not how much you do at one sitting, it's how long you keep doing the same thing. Perseverance.
Persistence, perseverance.
So after a couple of years of doing that, I'm much better now.
Okay. And so when did that would you say that was the more rigorous part of your training?
Yes, because my perseverance is not the best, so it was a lot of work having to sit down every day and sing the same thing over and over, but it was a big help, and I'm very grateful to them for giving me that advice.
Okay. And so now tell me a little bit about, what is it about Hindustani classical music that, makes you want to do it again and again every single day?
It's a very creative art. Once you have the notes of a rag down, you can go wherever within the rag. You can do what you want, whatever comes to your mind, you can sing it. Western classical music, it's like, here's the piece and you play it and there you go. But in Hindustani classical music, it's like you're free to do and create whatever you want to do. So that's the part that keeps bringing me back to practicing every day and going to performances and competitions. It's so fun to do it once you sit down.
Alright, and so now I understand that you are a senior at Cupertino High, right?
Yeah.
So how do you find the time to balance your, academic life and your art?
Sometimes it gets really hard to make time away from my schoolwork. I have 5 AP classes this year, but I've just determined that I need to practice at least this much time every day, and then it gets a lot easier when you have that determination.
Great. So what time of day is most ideal for you for your riyaz?
Usually in the evening.
So after
school.
After the homework is out of the way.
Yeah.
All right. So and do you think that is that why is that the most effective time, do you think? Is it because you're more mentally relaxed and
yeah, I come home from school and I'm all wound up, but then after I get a bit of work out of the way, I'm like, okay. So then I feel like calm enough and focused enough to practice.
I was always curious about, I know different, like my friends as well who learn music, they all have a different kind of approach to their practice. So for you, does it matter where you are, what kind of setting you're on, what kind of atmosphere you're in, or can you just, once you have the tantra with you, can you just rehearse wherever you are?
Yeah.
It's the later one?
Yeah, where I sing, like, it doesn't really matter much where I sing. It's that I get so like in tune with the tanpura and like go into my own little world that it's okay if I'm not in my room with my tanpura. I can practice anywhere.
Right. And how long did it take you to kind of cultivate that feeling of being in one with the tanpura?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
At first I was like getting distracted by everything around me, but then Maushi and Kaka said that you have to focus on what you're singing and only then will you improve. So yeah.
So what is your most favorite type of, gaiki, or do you enjoy learning bandishes, or do you enjoy the whole experience of learning a rag?
I enjoy the time when you first start a rag and you're learning a vilambit khyal and everything is so calm and slow and you make a nice long slow alapi and it like brings peace. I like that part.
Alright. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Alright, so I've heard, I wasn't personally there, but I've heard that you've recently had your debut performance of a sort. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
We started preparing, well, the concert was in August, but we started preparing in February and March. So at first we were just doing 1 hour a week of extra practice. After my regular class with all the other girls, me and Archana Mashi would go upstairs and do a little practice for the program. And then they went to India over the summer actually, so then I was like sort of by myself and it was kind of scary, like am I doing this right or not? But then they came back a month before the program and then we started doing daily practices at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 to 8 because Kaka has to go to work. And then sometimes they'd call me again in the evening to practice. So I think their dedication is extraordinary. Like they put so much effort into making this program a success. And like they gave up so much of their time to help me improve and it was like, I'm really thankful to them.
So tell me a little bit about the program itself. How did you know that this was the right time for you to be, making this debut?
I wanted to do the program when I would have a lot of time to prepare for it. Since this is the beginning of my senior year, college apps are coming, I decided that I should do this before. And also Maushi and Kaka felt that I was ready to do it, else they wouldn't have told me to go for it. But they also said, yeah, you're ready, let's go.
That's always exciting when you see that kind of support from your gurus, seeing that they trust you so much with this art. So do you feel like that was like was it like hard to meet their expectations? Like did you ever feel that from yourself?
I did feel a lot of pressure to meet their expectations. Like they were getting so excited about it, my parents were getting so excited about it. They were making all the preparations, decorations, dinner, catering. So much like outside of music preparation was going on that I felt that I need to sing really well to sort of balance it out to meet their expectations. So there was a lot of pressure on me because of that.
So how about the expectations that you had from yourself? Do you think you met those?
I think so. That my main aim was that I need to stay strong throughout the performance. It was 2 hours long with 2 long ragas in the middle. So I think that I did like keep the force in my voice until the very end, and that's what made me happy, is I managed to reach that goal.
Great. Can you walk us a little bit through the program of the event? So what did you start off with singing? What did you end with?
I started with Rag Puriya Dhanashri. I sang Vilambit Khyal, Ajare Balamare, and then a little Chota Khyal and then Tarana. That was the longest piece actually, 45 minutes.
Wow.
And then I sang a Natya Sangeet, Sangeeta Rasa Surasa, and then I ended the first half with Panduranga Nami, a bhajan.
Okay.
And then there were snacks in the middle, and everyone had batata vada, so it was very nice.
Which of course you can't have,
yeah,
because it's all oily. Yeah.
For me. And then the second half was actually longer than the first, so I started with Rag Miya Malhar, and then I sang Ramachandra Manamohan, another bandish. I sang Ugavala Chandra Punavetsa, which is actually my granddad's favorite Natya Sangeet.
Wow.
So he was there going like this.
And and your grandparent was there at the
Yeah, my
concert.
grandparents came over
Great.
for the concert, all the way from India. So
that's nice.
was
It's nice when you have, you see your family sitting there. You see that, you have the support of so many people, because you invited friends and family, of course. Yeah. So what kind of, you were going to continue with, and then you concluded the performance with...
Oh, I had 3 more songs after that. I had Vande Ganapatim, my mom's favorite. And then I had Savariya, which actually Archana Mashi chose because she thought it would sound good in my voice. I think it did. I don't want to brag or anything, but I think that was everyone's favorite piece. Everyone came up to me and said, "Oh, that was my favorite." Wow. So yeah. And then I ended with, actually, it was a poem by Swatantra Veer Savarkar that Manoj Kaka had set to music and tal. It's called Mala Devacha Darshana Gyudya. I think it was nice to end with one of Manoj Kaka's music-ified pieces.
Right.
Yeah, because we wanted to include one of his, and it was nice to end the program with one of his pieces. So that was it.
So, I can kind of see that your performance had a balance of your light classical music side as well as the more, classical ragdari kind of singing. So, I guess, which do you enjoy more, or is it just a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I like as I said before, I like the creativity that comes with singing a rag, but I also like the, when you sing a Natya Sangeet or a bhajan, there's you get into the rhythm, and it's very exciting.
So it's a different effect, I guess, on the audience members.
Yeah.
So what kind of response did you receive from the audience?
I think their favorites were Savariya and Ugavala Chandra Punavetsa. Yeah, my Azuba actually said once more, and then I sang a once more for that one after that.
Nice.
But yeah, during both rags, they were all just sitting like this, with their eyes shut.
Which is a good sign. That means they want to soak in your soulful singing.
Yeah, I was kind of nervous looking at them all with their eyes shut, but then I was like, okay, this is a good sign. Let's keep going.
Right. You just had that intuition?
Yeah.
That everything was going well?
Yeah, I was like, okay. And then after that I started smiling. At first I was so nervous, I was singing like this.
Did you watch your video?
Yeah. They actually made a DVD of the whole thing, so we just watched that yesterday.
Okay. And how was that experience for you? I know when I listen to myself, it's not a very comfortable feeling, because I can tell all the mistakes that I've made. But how about for you? Do you feel like it's something that you learn from when you listen to yourself, or?
Yeah, I realized that I keep looking in one direction. It's probably at my mom. And yeah, I was sitting there cringing like, oh, this is based here, what is this? And then everyone else was like, oh, it's so nice. I'm like, no, it's not.
I guess that after a certain amount of practice, we think that this should become second nature. But we see all these great musicians who've been doing this for years and years, and they started when they were young, when they were little children almost. So how do you see yourself reaching that level, or do you think that you're still trying to work towards that goal? What's your ultimate, what is your personal goal that's going to make you happy in this art?
I think right now I'm still working on the quality of my music. There's always room to improve, but now I've gotten the confidence to sing in front of 200 people all staring at me. So I think that's a critical point to reach, is you can sit there and smile at 200 people and not be
It's a
scared.
milestone
in
this kind of path that you've created for yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to be going to college after this year, but I would still love to continue my music and maybe actually reach that level.
Great. So how would you approach that? The distance, not being within 20-25 minutes of your gurus. How is that process going to be like?
Me and Mashi have been talking about this, that we can do like a Skype thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I could try to go to a university that's close by, maybe Berkeley, so that I could come back and have class and like, continue my music that way.
Alright.
Well, now I'm gonna get into Berkeley, but
No, I'm sure you will. Alright. Rasika, do you have any questions?
Well, actually, sort of. You know all those famous gurus, as Yashashree said before, who started at a younger age and become like very big to this, like Kishore Amarkar and Bhimsen Joshi. Like, who's your inspiration? If you have any.
all of them.
Choose one. I'm just kidding.
No, I don't have any like specific inspiration, but I did get a chance to learn from one such famous guru. He was Vijay Koparkar. He came to stay with the Mashi and Kaka about 3 years back, and then we all sang a little bit each for him, and he was like, "Oh, I can teach them," and then we're like, "Yes." It was such a good opportunity to learn from him because he has a different style of music. We do Skype because he lives in Pune, so every Monday evening there's a 1-hour Skype class. I stopped attending, unfortunately, a short while back because I had so much work for junior year, but I think I'm going to start up again. It was a really good opportunity. So I guess because I have a connection to Vijay Koparkar, he would be my main inspiration. Because
That's really amazing, though, because I've never learned from anybody famous, I'll tell you that. So.
It was such a great opportunity, and he also showed the same interest in our talents that Mashi and Kaka did. So that was really a big honor. That such a great singer is helping us improve. So that was nice.
And that's, after all, that's the kind of support we need, right? Because I know that sometimes, you rely on yourself to cultivate certain talents, but when you have, when you can share that with the audience or with your parents, with your family, with your gurus, I guess it kind of manifests itself, turns into something greater. What is, you kind of expressed you were comfortable with how the performance went, right?
Yeah.
So, still, do you think that there was some space for improvement? What would you work on in the future?
There's always space for improvement. I would work on, my usual problem is force. So I get tired very easily when I'm singing, especially during Ragpuri Dhanashree. I was like gasping almost towards the end, but yeah, I just need to work on breathing and staying calm and not getting worked up during the tarana.
So that's a great goal to work towards. And then now, you have 1 more year until you go off to college, obviously. So would you say that this 1 year, what are the kinds of things that you would try to take away with you to college from this experience?
That's a tough question. I want to take away the skills I've learned at like achieving a goal. That once you have a goal in mind, you need to put in a lot of hard work to get there. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, it's gonna happen soon. You have to put in a lot of practice. I think that'll help me like all of my life.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Priyanka.
Thank you.
As a last kind of request, would you mind giving us a little snippet of Panduranganami?
Okay.
Really? Great. Thank you.
Panduranganami lagala sidhyasa. Panduranganami lagala sidhyasa. Shwasa Panduranga Panduranga Zala Maza. Panduranganami lagala sidhyasa. Panduranganami lagala sidhyasa.